Bonjour, this is Sports on All Angles and welcome back to eNCA. The Springboks are halfway into the European tour and they are yet to register a win in the Northern Hemisphere. Jacques Nienaber's men have so far lost 2 of their tests after losing to Ireland and France. Well, they'll hope to return to winning ways when they take on Italy this afternoon. For more on this, I'm joined by eNCA Sports Editor Vata Ngobeni, who is at the Gary and Vivian Player Invitational at Sun City in the Northwest. A very good afternoon, Vata. Great to talk to you. Gary Player turned 87 last month and he remains a proud activist of social change for creating hope to the underprivileged. What makes the Gary and Vivian Player Invitational such a special event?
Afternoon, Arthur. I think what makes this event so special is the giving back factor. You know, last night we attended the welcoming ceremony with an array of South African sporting legends from all sporting codes, you know, and a story that came out of that was when Gary Player spoke about, you know, Uncle Zach, who comes from this area, from just Mukwasi, and Uncle Zach is now caddied for some of the biggest names when it comes to world golf. We saw when Louis Oosthuizen won the Open, you know, Zach was there carrying his bag. When Brendan Grace, you know, won here at Sun City, the Nedbank Golf Challenge a few years ago, again it was Zach carrying his bag. And, you know, he's carrying now, you know, all over Europe and obviously in the PGA as well for a lot of other players. So again, you know, the inspirational stories that come from this invitational. And one will remember that last year, you know, Gary Player lost his wife, his long-time wife, Vivian Player, from pancreatic cancer, and that's where again her name has now been added to this tournament. But again, at the heart of it is giving back. You know, they support a school out in Johannesburg at Blair Pre-Primary School, and it's been a project, you know, of passion for over 30 years. You know, and so many kids have gone through that school, and it's not about sport, it's about education and giving back. As to what Heidi's conversation, you know, last, they've created safe spaces for children from underprivileged areas to be able, you know, to get a good education. And we spoke to yesterday, fortunately, former Springbok, Stefan de Blanche, and just hear what he's got to say about this tournament and what it means to be part of those sporting legends that have come here.
I mean, Gary Player, not only an icon to South Africans but across the world, and for us to be here as ex-sportsmen playing in this wonderful golf day, and for a very good reason and for a very good cause. It's great to be here to see old friends, not only from the rugby fraternity, Butch James, Pat Lammy, Victor Matfield, all those guys, but also from the cricket, football, soccer, golf. It's just great for us to be here, and a great honour and a privilege.
Well, staying on that rugby note, Vata, the Springboks play Italy today at 3 p.m. and Rassie Erasmus is in the news for all the wrong reasons once again after posting that social media post, taking a jab at match officiating once more. How detrimental is this for the Springboks going forward?
You know, Arthur, again, I think Rassie Erasmus, as a character we all know, enjoys pushing the boundaries, enjoys questioning, or rather is a man who wants to question. Yes, he would say it's for clarity's sake, but personally I believe that this past week he probably would have gone too far. And a lot of sporting now, or rugby legends and Springbok people are believing that. I mean, he's copped a lot of criticism from across the rugby world, especially from the UK and their media, and former players and referees, and now the likes of the great Nigel Owen saying that, you know, again, you know, Rassie should, you know, there are the right ways in which you go about raising issues around officiating, and unfortunately him going to social media is not helping that. So we spoke to, again, Stefan de Blanche, weighed in on the issue and said that I think what Rassie should be focusing on is on making sure that this team turns the corner, wins against Italy this afternoon and goes on to beat England, instead of him hogging the headlines and putting the team under undue pressure.
I get that he wants to put a message across to refereeing and to world rugby in particular about the standard of refereeing in the world, but what he's doing at the moment, I don't personally think is going to help and make the cause any better. I mean, World Rugby's banned him, and we could all see that ban coming. He's been banned for a year or two before from World Rugby for the video he made after the Lions test match in South Africa. So I don't think he's doing us any favours by doing so. There are formal complaints and there are formal processes that you can follow. Yes, you might not always get the results that you're after, but I think at the moment it's not the right way to go. He got his ban. Hopefully he'll learn from it. And I do feel his pain. And I think a lot of South Africans always feel that we get the wrong rub of the green when it comes to refereeing decisions, but I think doing videos and taking on World Rugby, which is the World Rugby power, is not going to do you any favours.
Well, Vata, back to the Springboks chat. Next year is the World Cup year for the champions, the Boks. Regarding their 50% winning record so far in the test calendar of 2022, is there anything to worry about when it comes to their title defence in France 2023?
I don't think so. It's a year out to the tournament itself. Yes, people would not have been happy with the performances. Even the Springboks have not been happy with some of their performances. One would go back as far as when Wales came into the country, when they toured the incoming tour in July. We saw that they were able to record their first victory ever on South African soil in that second test in Bloemfontein. But however, the Springboks were able to come back in the third test. And then they went on the Rugby Championship, put on probably one of the best performances in the professional era by a Springbok team against the All Blacks out in Nelspruit. But then a week later, stumbled, against the same All Black team which had been struggling, having come into the Rugby Championship. And then we've seen them again, as of late, recently. Didn't play well against the number one team, Ireland, 2 weeks ago. They lost their game by 3 points. And then they put on, again, another very heartening performance against the French, which is the number two side in World Rugby. And that red card, they would have looked at it and said to themselves, to come from being a man down to close off a 13-point deficit against a team that's playing at home and one of the most dangerous teams and a team that's touted to be one of the favourites going to next year's World Cup. They would have said to themselves, to lose through certain decisions that are questionable, I think would have been heartening for them. But it's imperative now, Arthur, that they turned around this coming weekend today and make sure that they put away Italy. And Italy will be a team high on confidence after their historic win, against Australia last weekend. But let's listen to Stefan de Blanche again when he speaks about the game and the fact that there shouldn't be any panic stations ahead of next year's Rugby World Cup.
Look, 2 games in a row you lose as a Springbok team that, I wouldn't say panic stations, but the nation will ask some questions, and rightly so. We're one of the best teams in the world. We've got some of the most best and blessed talent in this country. So we should win 90% of our games. So, no, I wouldn't say panic stations, but, 1 or 2 adjustments. He trains a few for the Italian team game tomorrow. Again, England next weekend. So no need to panic, but, they need to perform better. If you look at the SAA games over the last 2 weekends against Munster and against Bristol last night, not great at all. Very, very disorganized, basic skills laid down. I'm not criticizing the players. I'm just calling it as it is. So no need to panic, but we are better than what we are playing at the moment.
All right, Vata, thanks for that. We've run out of time. That's Vata Ngobeni, eNCA Sports Editor in Sun City at the Gary and Vivian Player Invitational, and also commenting on the afternoon's international rugby match between the Boks and Italy, which gets underway at 3 p.m.